This is Detective Sergeant Anthony out with the Michigan State Police Alpena Post. It is Tuesday, April 4th, 2023 at approximately 2:03 p.m. I'm going to be conducting a phone interview with a Courtney South, who is a trustee on the Bradley Township Board.
Hello?
Hello, is this Courtney?
Yes.
Hey, it's Detective Sergeant Anthony out with the Michigan State Police. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hey, good. Do you have a quick minute, or is this a bad time?
Sure.
Okay. So, hey, the reason for the call, I don't know if you've heard or not. Craig Smith has filed a complaint on behalf of the Bradley Township Board, alleging the board violated the Open Meetings Act during a December 14th, 2022 board meeting in which the board took the meeting from an open session to a closed session to discuss the employment of Jay Streif. Does that all ring a bell?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you're the last one actually that I've got to talk to. I talked to the other four members of the board, and everything's been really consistent. So I just want to get a quick version from you of what took place that night that led from the meeting going from an open to a closed session, if you don't mind, and I won't take up any more of your time.
Yeah, and there should be a recording of it too. I don't know if you got to see that, but yeah, everything's recorded. But so yeah, we had to discuss Jay's employment, and we went into closed session. Jay kind of mumbled, We went into closed session, discussed his employment, opened back up, and then we actually terminated him in open session.
Okay. All right.
So there was talks of like, well, did he agree to it? Did he not agree to it? Well, he did say he like mumbled.
Okay.
But it was kind of open-ended of was that him agreeing or him not agreeing. And now after the fact, he's saying, I think Craig's kind of conspired to get him against us, to be honest, and things happened.
Okay. So more or less, I think, in watching the video, and correct me if I'm wrong, so initially, I think it was Evelyn that kind of requested that the meeting go to closed session. Jay stood up and basically said, I would like to remain open. There was some discussion back and forth, and it's, I'll be honest with you, it's really hard to hear on the video on whether or not he agreed or disagreed. But so ultimately, though, he does acknowledge or whatever. I think there was some discussion on maybe just for confidentiality reasons you really should consider taking this to a closed session, and he agrees. And I think then he at some point there's a discussion that takes place where he agrees or whatnot to the closed session, but requests that his supervisor Brian attend. Is that kind of how it happened? Okay.
Brian did attend. Yep.
And then you do go to a closed session and come back and open it back up. So, and I think I talked to Ken and Phil, and they were kind of second guessing whether or not it was done properly as far as whether it was taken to a vote to go to closed session or whatnot. I don't think it was, and they kind of agreed with that, but it wasn't.
It wasn't. Looking back, it wasn't taken to a vote.
Okay.
And we actually contacted our attorney and was like, did we do something wrong here to cover our own butts? And he's like, yeah. He said, anytime you go into concession, just call MTA or call your attorney first. So that's like a good protocol.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. But it wasn't necessarily because you forgot to do that or whatever. I'm asking, it wasn't out of malice or anything like that. It was just a simple oversight. No. Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't have a good answer for this. I'll be honest. I don't investigate a lot of these. Sometimes they land on my desk. Sometimes, we just don't get a lot of them. It seems like we get more stuff from Bradley Township over the last few years than anywhere else. But
yeah, Craig is a difficult one, and I've only been on the board for a short time. I actually was appointed last October, so
okay. And
he's been nothing but issuing. I'm just threats and unhappy with everything since I've joined.
Okay.
But yeah, it was, looking back, could we have done things differently? Sure.
Yeah.
And, that's what the attorney said too. They're like, if you didn't do it on purpose, it's usually like a slap on the wrist, don't let it happen again. Well, it obviously wasn't done on purpose. And Jay, the things that we had to discuss, he didn't want out in the public. And that was done to protect him and his job going forward elsewhere with other people. Correct. So that's what kind of stinks. And Craig and Mark have kind of roped Jay into this to try to bring down certain board members.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's kind of what I've everybody's been consistent, and it seems like it was more, trying to figure out how to word it. But anyway, yeah, it doesn't seem like it was out of malicious or anything against him. It seems more or less.
Yeah.
But alrighty. Well, hey, I won't take up any more of your time. If you have any questions, feel free to give me a call.
Absolutely.
If anything else comes up or whatnot. So.
Okay. Well, thank you for calling and for listening.
Yep. Hey, no problem.
All right.
Appreciate you taking the call. Have a great day.
Absolutely, you too.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
That will conclude my interview with Courtney South.